For what feels like forever, the AI race was pretty simple. It was all about raw power. Who could build the smartest model, the one that just crushed all the benchmarks? Well, that's all changing. The battleground for who wins in AI is shifting from just pure smarts to something, well, something a lot more human. And really, that question gets right to the heart of this huge split that's happening in the AI world. It's forcing everyone, developers and users like you and me, to pick a side. Do you want an AI that's an absolute genius, or one that's just a great conversationalist? This whole debate is perfectly summed up by what OpenAI just did with their latest release, GPT 5.1. I mean, you'd think they'd come out swinging, talking about how much smarter it is, right? Nope. They led with its personality. I mean, coming from OpenAI, that is a huge signal. They're basically telling the entire industry, hey, the game isn't just about who wins on the leaderboards anymore, it's about the user experience. They're literally designing for warmer and more playful models. That's a massive bet that how a conversation feels is now just as critical as the answers it's giving you.
Okay, so this move has really split the room. You've got two completely different stories here. OpenAI's version, they've built this slick router that picks the right model for the job, fast for simple stuff, deep for complex stuff, all to make it feel more natural. But then you have the skeptics, the experts, who are kind of raising an eyebrow and asking, wait a minute, is this really about making it more empathetic? Or is this a clever way to save a ton of money and quietly fix some problems from the last version? And yeah, this quote just hits the nail on the head for the skeptical view. The theory here is that OpenAI is basically gift wrapping a cost-saving measure, and let's be honest, a fix for a model that a lot of people felt was a step backward, and they're calling it user experience and warmth. It's like they're being accused of saying, hey, the model's not worse, you just don't like its personality? So there you have it. The battle lines are being drawn. On one side, you've got the EQ camp, all about making AI a great conversational partner. But don't think for a second the other side is just rolling over. Oh no, the IQ camp is fighting back, and they are coming out swinging. And that brings us to let's call it the champion of Team IQ. While OpenAI was busy talking about feelings, a startup out of China, Moonshot AI, just dropped a bomb on the open source world, a model that is all about pure, unadulterated power. Let me introduce you to Kimi K2. Yeah, Kimi K2 is not here to be your buddy. It's here to be the most powerful model on the planet, period. We're talking a massive context window, that's its short-term memory basically. It's gigantic. It can handle hundreds of different tools one after another. And the kicker? It's open source. This isn't just another release. People are calling this a potential Linux moment for AI. Think about that, a grassroots project that could actually take on the biggest companies in the world. And this isn't just talk. The threat is absolutely real. According to Moonshot AI's own data, Kimi K2 is outperforming the big, expensive proprietary models on key benchmarks for things like complex reasoning and coding. It is the perfect David versus Goliath story for the AI age. And right now, David is claiming he just landed a knockout punch. And this is the really profound part. Just think about it. If the best model in the world is open, free for anyone to use and build on, it completely flips the script. The center of gravity in AI just shifts overnight from these secret labs at Google and OpenAI to this global, shared community. It's not an update, it's a potential revolution. And if you're a developer or anyone who actually builds stuff with AI, this is everything. It means one thing: control, total control. No more paying for every single API call, no more waking up to find out some company changed everything and broke your app. And maybe most importantly, no one is looking at your data. It's about having a top-tier model running locally on your own terms. Okay, so we've got this battle royale happening. Smarts versus style, open versus closed. But what's the end game? Where is all this heading? Well, Microsoft just gave us a peek into a future that takes all this power and plugs it into our work lives in a way that is, well, it's pretty radical. Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. They're not talking about an assistant. They're talking about an independent user, an AI that has its own corporate ID, its own login, its own access to your company's systems. An AI that can show up to meetings, edit documents, and basically work right alongside you as a digital coworker. This is a huge leap. I mean, think about the progression. First, we had AI as a simple tool, right, like spell check. Then it became an assistant, like Copilot, something that helps you out.
But Microsoft is proposing the next and final step, AI as a full-blown autonomous teammate. This isn't a thing you give commands to. This is a thing you collaborate with. But, as cool and futuristic as that might sound, the immediate reaction from anyone in security or compliance was pretty much sheer panic. They're not seeing a productivity dream here. They're seeing a complete and total governance nightmare just waiting to unfold. And the questions this brings up are just dizzying. I mean, think about it. If one of these AI users leaks confidential data or violates HR policy, who's accountable? Who gets fired? The person who turned it on? The IT department? The AI itself? We have absolutely zero framework, legal or otherwise, to deal with this. And look, even if you solve the legal stuff, you've got this massive cultural shockwave to deal with. How do you manage a team where some of your employees work 24/7, they never take a break, they never get tired, and they have instant access to every single file in the company? This isn't a tech problem anymore. This is a human resources bomb that most companies are nowhere near ready to handle. So let's pull back for a second. When you look at all these different threads, GPT's new personality, Kimi's raw power, Microsoft's vision for an AI coworker, you start to see that it all comes down to a few key conflicts, a few big tensions that are really shaping where all of this is going. And these are the fundamental choices we are all going to have to make, one way or another. First up, experience versus power. Do you want the friendly, high EQ model from OpenAI or the raw, high IQ powerhouse like Kimi K2? Then there's control versus convenience. Do you want the freedom and privacy of open source or the polished, managed ecosystem of the big tech companies? And finally, the big one, tool versus teammate. Is AI something that just helps us, or is it something that works alongside us as an equal? Look, the answers to these questions aren't just about technology. They're going to define our jobs, our companies, and our society for the next few decades. And it all leads to one final, pretty uncomfortable thought. We've been talking about an AI coworker, but what's the next step after that? An AI manager? An AI boss? So the real question is, are we ready for that?